All right. Hello and welcome. My name is David Baker, and we are here for the webinar entitled How to Never Fight with Your Spouse Again. What an awesome thing that is. I'm going to go to share screen and pull up a PowerPoint, and then we're going to jump right in and get started. So how to never fight with your spouse again. This is sponsored by Fixed Families Institute, something we try to do to be able to help families, children, marriages, and how important that is. If you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat. I'll answer that at the end when we get done with the lesson. If you don't know anything about me, I was a paratrooper before getting into the ministry. Used to jump out of those perfectly good airplanes. That's at Pope Air Force Base right outside of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, getting ready to jump probably 33 years ago or so. It's my beautiful wife. We've been married for 30 years and we have 11 children together. That picture is a few years old. We have 3 that are married now and 7 grandchildren. And when they all get married, we have no idea how many we'll have, but they are a lot of fun. So the title, Never Fight with Your Spouse Again. How to never fight with your spouse again. Fighting is not fun. Fighting is not a good thing. We definitely don't want that in our life. One of the big things in introduction is we fight with the wrong person. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Your spouse is flesh and blood. So when you fight with your spouse, then you're not fighting the person that you're supposed to fight. Many times it is Satan who is trying, in his forces, trying to stir up a problem to create the issue, and we find ourselves, and he sits back and laughs. It reminds me of someone in grade school. Wouldn't say that I would do this, but I'm sure I have. So you're sitting in the rows in school and you lean over to this row, and on the outside ear, you flick the outside ear. So he turns around on this side to see the person behind him, and they get into it and start fighting, and we sit over here and just laugh. That's not very nice, I know. And it's not nice when Satan does it either. He does that to husbands and wives and families and gets them fighting. And then he sits back and laughs as we get messed up. Will this program work? Absolutely, it will work. This came out of counseling hundreds of couples and asking God for an answer and a plan to be able to help. I've had couples come in, they're mad at each other. They won't talk to each other, haven't talked to each other for a long time. Literally, boy, arms crossed, face grimaced, and they leave with this plan to fix this. And it's amazing how they've come back and said, "Pastor, we don't even fight anymore. It's not even fun to fight anymore. We do this plan when we have a conflict and we get done and go, that's it, it's over." It's just so different than the way it used to be. Absolutely, it will work. Marital disagreements, they will always be there, okay? We are different. We're different people. Men and women are different. You know, the old book, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. But we don't have to have fights. We can have disagreements and we can be different, but there do not have to be fights. So how do you fight? So put in the chat if you wouldn't mind, and if it's a bad one, you can put it private, just a panelist. But how do you fight? Number one, put this down if you're number one, we sit down quietly and peaceably and fix the problem. Amen? That's great. If you got it down, that's super. Number two, yelling, raise voices. How many times have one of the spouses said, "Stop yelling," and you're like, "I'm not yelling," but the voice has been raised some, okay? So that'd be number two. Number three, the quiet treatment. What's wrong? Nothing. That's a dangerous one. When they say nothing, believe me, there is something, okay? So is that it? The quiet treatment. Or number four, does it get physical? It happens a lot. I'm the chaplain in our county jail. I've dealt with hundreds of domestic abuse. I've been called in as a pastor many times when there have been those problems and issues. Many times it does get physical. It's not just the men. I have seen so many times the guy scratched, gouged, punched, bruised. It happens. Those tempers get elevated and it gets physical. So if that's it, number four. Or number five, we just hold it in and it never gets fixed. We think, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to bring it up. We hold it in and it never gets fixed. So where would you be? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or did I not pick yours? Is there something else? 6 or all of the above? It depends on the day. How do you fight? In pastoral counseling in Bible college, I was taught there are 5 major problems in marriage, 5 big reasons for divorce. Children, Okay, children, all the issues that can come on in education and discipline. Finances, I've never counseled a marriage yet where finances was not a part of the problem. Whether they had money or didn't, finances always seems to rear its ugly head up there. In-laws, outlaws, exes, any outside influence on the marriage. Number 3. Number 4, religion. Number 5, intimacy. Those are the 5 major problems we were taught to help people in counsel. I realized after a few dozen marriages, wow, the biggest problem these people have is communication. They can't even talk to each other. They can't even go through a conflict to be able to handle it the right way. I love this little cartoon. Why do you have to make a mountain out of a molehill every time we argue, Harold? How many times has a problem, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no big deal, 10 being major issue, how many times has that problem been a 3? But we didn't handle it right, and now it's a 5, and they didn't handle it back right, so now it's a 7 or 8. We got a, quote, knockdown, drag out, big 3-hour long, 5-day long, however long the fight takes to get resolved, all because we didn't handle it right. And that's what happens so often. If you do what I'm going to talk about and teach you here to do, you will not have that problem. So what we're going to have is rules for fighting. This is UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. When this thing started, and I've got the DVDs for UFC 1 and UFC 2, and watch these, they're pretty amazing. There were only 3 rules in the beginning: no eye gouging, no kicking in the groin, and no biting. That was it. Anything else you can do. And if you did one of those 3, you only had to pay a $1,500 fine. So you could get by with it. They wouldn't stop the fight. You could do each one of those things and only pay $1,500. Now in UFC, there are rules. By the way, when it was that way, it was banned in states. It had to go underground. It was a mess. Now they have 31 infractions of things you cannot do, and now it's accepted in one of the biggest sports that's out there. And so it's amazing. Here, the Ultimate Fighting Championship has rules for marriage, rules for fighting. What are yours? Do you have any rules for fighting? Oh, we are not supposed to fight. Yes, but every marriage has those disagreements. Shouldn't we have rules for them? So tonight, basically, I'm going to give you my rules for fighting. I only have 3. What would yours be? What would your rules be? If you had rules for fighting, what would you make them to be? Not squeeze them till they tap out. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. So survey question. All right, just answer in the chat if you think this will work. So how to calm an angry woman? All you have to do is just say, calm down. Does that work? Or vice versa to a guy. That's just a cartoon. Tell an angry guy, well, you just need to calm down. That doesn't work, okay? That doesn't work. That's not what we want to hear, and that's not going to fix the problem. So the philosophy, before I teach you the rules, I want to teach you the philosophy, okay? The philosophy is called, are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? Let's say you go to the doctor and he gives you some tests and you're concerned about some things. He calls you the next day and he has the test back and he says to you on the phone, are you sitting down? Now, is he really afraid you're going to pass out? I mean, how many times do people just literally faint and pass out? They're not really concerned about that. When they say, are you sitting down? That is a mental preparation to tell you what I'm getting ready to tell you is serious. What I'm getting ready to talk to you about is a big deal. Mentally preparing you for what's going to happen, okay? Little boy, Mom, are you sitting down? Doc says it's cooties, okay? The Bible says, Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself. But the simple pass on and are punished. In marriage, we ought to see what the potential problem could be in our marriage and hide ourselves so we're not hurt with that. It repeats it again, Proverbs 27:12, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Not many verses in the Bible that's exactly the same word for word. Why is it that way? Because it's important. And we need to hear that. We need to look and see, okay, this situation with my wife or with my husband has the potential to be a conflict. When that does, then you're going to go to these rules and put these things in place. And when you do that, the marriage problems that you've had, the conflicts that you had, poof, disappear. It's amazing. You will not have them if you put this in place, okay? The problem may start out small, but if we're not careful, it will escalate way out of control. And that's what happens. You want to make sure before you bring up the problem that they are, quote, sitting down, relaxed and chilling, okay? that cat is relaxed and chilled. We want to make sure before we bring up a problem that we're ready for that. What are the potential problems? What are the things like, ooh, yep, that's going to be an issue. Yep, that's going to be a problem. So you get to decide, all right? Each husband and each wife gets to decide how we bring up these problems. We're going to go through these, okay? Rule number one is when. When do you bring up the problem? When do you bring up the problem? Husband, you get to decide when your wife brings up a problem. Wife, you get to decide when your husband brings up a problem. You get to decide that, the when, okay? So when is the when for you? When you just got home, after dinner, after bed, and everyone's different. Listen, if my wife, the bill collectors are calling, the washing machine blew up, there's water all over the place, the kids have been horrible all day long, do I need to know those things? Absolutely, I need to know those things, but I don't need to know like that. I don't need to know as soon as I walk in the door at this heightened level, it's about time you're home, da 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 da. Okay, how well do you think that's going to go? Not well. We're not using wisdom. We're not foreseeing the evil. Prudent is someone who's wise all the time. The prudent man foreseeth the evil. If I handle it that way, we're going to have a bigger problem. So when does he want to bring things up? Some guys, they dealt with problems all day long at work. They want to come home, deal with any problems at home so they can relax the rest of the night. That's him. So that's when you bring up problems. Hey, honey, I'm glad you're home. There's a few things I need to talk to you about. Great. That's him. Some guys are like this. Look, don't bring up any problem until I've had a hug and a hamburger. Okay. Boy, I'm grouchy and I'm hungry and I need a Snickers. I need some food in my belly. I need some sweet tea. I need something like that before we bring up a problem. Theirs may be after dinner, or it may be before bed. Ours typically has always been before bed because we had a lot of children around and a small house. And so we don't have as many children around now and we have more room, so we can do it different times. But before, it was always before bed. Okay. So each husband, each wife gets to decide when they want to bring things up. Okay. All right. Next, where? This is not a gigantic thing, but every little bit helps. Where do you bring up the problem? The guy wants to be in his lazy boy, his comfortable chair. Oh, hold on. Let me get in my chair. Okay. All right. I'm ready. At the kitchen table where business is done, or where the food is at. That may be it, or in the bedroom. Again, for us, with all the children, smaller house, the bedroom was always the place where we did this. You get to pick the when, you get to pick the where. Okay. Mentally preparing ourselves that there's a problem. Their when and their where. Okay. And number three, the what. Okay. This is the big deal. Like, this is real simple. Absolutely it is, which is awesome. This is a secret sauce. Okay. That hamburger, okay, to all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, okay? The Big Mac, their special sauce, all right? The special sauce, the secret sauce for this is the what. Here's the question. What do you want your spouse to say before they talk to you about something that could cause a problem? What can they say to put you in the right frame of mind to handle and fix the problem in the right way? What can they say not to put you on the defensive or on the offensive? As we know, we have buttons and our spouse knows how to push them. And sometimes they push them. What can they say that doesn't push any buttons that will help you to handle this the right way? Okay, you get to decide that. I want you to take some time to think. The when, that's pretty simple. You already got that. Yep, I want to handle it after dinner. Great. You already pretty figured that out. The where, yep, my lazy boy. That's where I want to be. That's my where. Okay, I got my when, I got my where. The what, I want you to take some time to think about this. This is your homework, okay? When I'm doing marriage counseling, I give them the homework, and next week we follow up and see how it went. The what can they say to put you in the right frame of mind where you're going to handle this the right way, calmly, smoothly, without any escalation in it, okay? And you get to decide what that is. For the woman, make sure it's something that shows love. It shows that you love her. Ephesians 5:33, nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself. Another place it says to love our wife like Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. The most important thing for a woman is to feel loved. Had one couple, they came in for their second appointment and said, okay, how'd it go? And he said, I don't want to say what she wants me to say. Okay, what does she want you to say? She wants me to say, beautiful, I need to talk to you about something. And I smiled and said, perfect, perfect, exactly, do that. Here's why. You're getting ready to say something negative to her. And when you do that, she's not going to feel loved. So when you say, beautiful, I need to talk to you about something, she's going to feel loved and she's going to handle that in such a better way. Do it. Do it. Now, my wife and I started this. I didn't hear this or hear this taught anywhere. We put this together. So ours is real simple. Ours is when after kids go to bed, where's in our room, and the what is, honey, I need to talk to you about something. Okay. That's ours. Very simple. I love it when people add more to it and build more into it. And this was, so for the woman, ma'am, you want to pick something. What can he say to make you feel loved? Because if you feel loved, you're going to handle this the right way. When he attacks you or cuts you down or says something bad about you, you don't feel loved. You're not going to respond the right way. And we have the escalation. Okay. So what can he say to make you feel loved? For the man, make sure it's something that shows him respect. Ephesians 5:33, and the wife see that she reverence her husband, revere, respect, honor. The Bible says Sarah called Abraham Lord, to see that he feels respect. Another week I had someone come in, a couple for their second time. All right, how did it go? And she's like, I don't want to say what he wants me to say. Okay, what does he want you to say? He wants me to say, sir, I need to talk to you about something. He's grinning and I'm smiling. He said, perfect, do it. Let me tell you why. You're getting ready to say something negative to him. To him, he's going to feel like you're disrespecting him. So when you say, sir, I need to talk to you about something, he's going to feel respected. Okay, absolutely do it. And then I joked with her and I said, you could say what Sarah called Abraham, Lord, I need to talk to you. She said, okay, I'll say sir, before he goes, yeah, call me Lord. And so, sir, think of something, sir, that your wife can say to you that will make you feel respected. Okay, that will make you feel respected. And put some creativity into it. Think about it. In that moment, when she says this to you, boom, you got it. You're in, you handle it right way, and we're done. We're done. Use some humor. Humor is a great tool for a great marriage. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine. The Bible says, merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. He that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. Okay, humor, laughter. God made us that way. God made us to enjoy humor. So when my wife says to me, honey, I need to talk to you about something, then I've always responded back, oh no, what did I do now? Okay, little bit of humor puts a little smile on my face and lightens it up where I'm now ready to listen to the problem. Okay, I'm now ready to listen to the problem. And that, are you sitting down? I am ready for a size 10 problem. She prepared me, honey, I need to talk about something. Whew. Okay, God, give me wisdom. Help me to answer this the right way. Oh no, what did I do now? And I'm ready for a 10 problem. And she brings up a 3. And I handle it the right way, and we're done. That's it. We're done. That's the way it should work. Okay, that's the way it should work. When you have that right what, your when helps some, your where helps some, but this what, bringing up that phrase the right way. By the way, in the where, make sure it's never in front of anybody. When you bring up a negative in front of somebody, that just never goes well. Okay, always in private. The where needs to be never in front of anyone. But use some humor. I had a couple come in for their second appointment one time, and how did it go? And she is shaking her head with a smile on her face. And I said, what? She said, what he wants me to say. I'm looking at him and he's just got a grin on as big as it could be. And I looked and said, okay, what does he want you to say? He wants me to say, there are strawberries in the pineapple patch. And I looked at him and he just busted out laughing. I'm like, okay, translation. And he said, look, when she brings up a negative, she's got this scowling, hard look on her face. And I don't respond well to that. But I know she can't say there's strawberries in the pineapple patch without smiling and without laughing. And so when she comes to me with a smile and laughing, I'm good. I can handle any problem. And I said, man, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. So have some humor, use some humor. What can he say or she say to you with humor that can put you in the right frame of mind to handle any problem that comes up? Okay. I don't put this in the slide, but sometimes I'll tell couples this. You're married. Okay. You can have something playful, if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Honey, I need to bring up a problem. And when it's over, we're going to have some fun. You tell that to a guy, he's ready. Okay, what do I need to fix? Okay, but you think through, for you, what do you need to say? What do you need to hear where you're going to handle this the right way? Okay, all right, now the what ifs. No, that's the 3 rules. Pretty simple. What's your when? What's your where? And what's your what? Okay, and so what ifs? What if they don't use my when, where, and what? What if they just start off like they always start off? They're attacking me and it's negative and it's loud and it's not my when and not my where and not my what. Real simple. Okay. Here's what you do. With a smile, you didn't have a smile, but with a smile, just put your hand up like this and just smile. That's our cue. That's our number we do. Just smile and put your hand up. Because what we're doing, husband and wives have a buy-in on this, okay? If there's just a husband watching, you want to get this to your spouse, we'll send a replay. If it's just the wife, you want to get this to your husband, and you need to agree, this is how we are going to handle conflicts in the future. So if they bring it up the wrong way, which they will until a habit develops, okay, you just smile and put your hand up. And then he knows, okay, I got to wait till her when, her what, and her how. Okay, I got to wait for that. Same way, if the wife starts in on you, just smile and put your hand up, and she's got to back down. She's got to. How come? Because we agreed to this. This is how we're going to handle problems. And so you have to wait now for the when, where, and what. Okay, so that's that one. What if they don't bring it up that way? Just smile and put your hand up. All right, what if we do the right when, the right where, and the right what, but we still disagree? We still disagree. Very simply, we table it. Okay, we table it. This is something, a parliamentary procedure. This is something that's done in Congress or court or county commission. And they're talking about an issue. We're going to build a new park and it's going to cost $2 million. And they're debating, talking about it. That's too much. We ought to do this. We ought to do this. And they're not getting along and they're not coming up with a resolution. So the debate's gone on for a while. They don't agree. Someone says, I make a motion, we table this. Okay, if they got a second and discussion, they can vote on it and they table it. All it means is simply this. We're going to take this and we're going to put it on the table. And we're not going to deal with it anymore tonight. We're going to wait till next council meeting to bring that up. Okay, we're going to table it. We're going to table it. Now, in marriage, okay, here's the way it is. It is 2 people, 50%, 5, and the numbers round up. Okay, 5 rounds up. So if one person says, I make a motion, we table it, then guess what? It's passed. It's passed because there is no discussion. There is no debate. It's 50%, it rounds up and we're done. And so if we do not table it, then what happens is that escalation starts to go back up. If we see we're not getting anywhere on this, we're going to table it. Now, we'll show you how to fix it in a minute. Can't stay tabled forever. Problems are made to be fixed. Listen to that statement. Problems are made to be fixed. There is an answer. Remember algebra and X? There is an answer for that X, and that's what we're looking for. Okay? Now, a little caveat here. Whoever makes the motion to table it, the other gets to make the closing arguments before we put it on the table. You ever had somebody argue it? They said their piece, they let the person have it, and then they said, yep, no more discussion, I'm done, I'm not talking about it anymore. That's not fair. You said your piece, and now you made it where they can't say theirs. So whoever says, look, I make a motion, we table it, the other person says, okay, before we table it, let me just lay it out. Honey, this is what I think. Here's our problem. As you think about it, as we think about it and pray about it, here's our problem, and this is what I think would be the best way to be able to handle it. And now we've tabled it. Okay, so what if we've done the right when, right where, and right what, and we still disagree? I make a motion, we table it, it passes, the other person gets to make their closing arguments. By the way, if you make closing arguments, I would make them kind, okay? And that's the last thing they're going to hear their mind on this issue for a little bit. All right, so then how does it get fixed? How does it get fixed? 2 ways. One is if later on one person changes their mind. A couple hours later on in the evening, the guy says, you know what she brought up, that's no problem. I'm fine. Hey, honey, the thing we talked about earlier, I'm okay. We can do it that way. Or vice versa. The wife can say, honey, I'm okay to do it the way you mentioned it later. I'm fine. Now, you can't bring it up 2 hours later because you thought of 3 better points of why you're right. Hey, what we talked about later, I want to untable that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're wrong. Okay. You can't do that. You can't do that. How else is it fixed? So yeah, you can't bring up better points. So what about fixing it before you go to bed and not let the sun go down upon your wrath? The Bible says to not let the sun go down upon your wrath. It doesn't all have to be fixed before you go to sleep. Sometimes certain personalities push to fix it and make a bigger mess. Anyone like that? Raise your hand. Like, we're gonna fix this, and you push it. You're pushing that round peg in that square hole, and you're gonna make it fit. And you might fix it, but you're going to create more problems in the meantime. Okay. So we agreed to table it. We're not mad. We can enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay. Nothing, the Bible doesn't say every problem has to be fixed before you go to bed. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Don't be angry. We've tabled it. We're going to fix it later. We're going to have a plan on how to fix it later. But we're not going to be mad. We're going to enjoy the rest of the night. When you handle things calmly, decently, and in order, the Bible says, there doesn't have to be any wrath. There doesn't have to be any anger. We've talked about it. Do you think this? We think this. Do you think this? We think this. We're not getting anywhere. Honey, I make a motion. We table this. Got it. Let me lay this out. Here's what I think and why. But yeah, let's just go ahead and table it, and we'll deal with it later. Put it on the table, and then we go on. No anger. No wrath, okay? Don't force it. Don't push it. We've got to fix this before we go to bed. You need to fix it enough where we don't have wrath. If there's wrath, then that needs to be fixed, okay? So how does it get fixed? So how do we do that? Let me ask you a few things first. What's the most important things in your life? Your money, your car, your house, your job? What's the most important things? Or would you say your marriage and family? I hope you would say your marriage and family. I think those are the most important things in our life. The Bible says life consisteth not in the abundance of the things a man possesseth. Life is not about our things that we have. So it's not about things and what is left. Relationships, relationship with God, with our family, and with our friends, okay? So the most important then, besides God, would be our marriage and our family. If your car has a problem, how do you fix it? You get a car coach. We call him a mechanic. By the way, how many mechanics ever look that friendly and happy when they're fixing something? You have a legal problem. How do you get it fixed? We have a legal coach. We call a lawyer. You have a health problem. How do you get it fixed? We call a health coach. We call a doctor. You have a plumbing problem. How do you get it fixed? A plumbing coach. Okay. Call them a plumber. By the way, plumbers are never that happy, never that kind of smile. Your electricity has a problem. What do you do to get it fixed? You call an electrical coach. We call an electrician. So why don't most people have a marriage and family coach? We agree, hey, that's the most important thing. Why don't most people have a marriage and family coach? It is pretty amazing. We say it's the most important thing. We agree that marriage and family is more important than this, but yet we have a plumber, an electrician, and a mechanic, and a doctor, and a lawyer, but we don't have a marriage coach to be able to help us. Marriages have problems, and people don't know how to fix them or where to go to get them fixed. 50% of first marriages end in divorce of unsaved people. 50% of first marriages end in divorce of saved people. That's the sad statistic. People think if it doesn't work, then I get a divorce, I'll just find someone else. And 78% of second marriages end in divorce. Marriages have problems, okay? But they do not have to end in divorce if we have a marriage coach to help us. It's not bad to have a marriage coach. It's a wise thing to do. My wife and I have a marriage coach, and we've used our marriage coach. We even used a marriage coach on our honeymoon. How come? My wife, she just had a bad attitude, grouch, complain. No, just kidding. We spent part of our honeymoon at a Christian ranch, and it came with a Surrey ride, and it came with private pool and access. It came with a steak candlelight dinner, and it came with one session with a older, wise marriage coach. And so we sat down with him. We didn't have any problems, but we sat down with him, and he gave us advice. It was very, very helpful. There's nothing wrong with having a marriage coach, okay? It's important and wise to do. Have you ever priced a divorce? $15,000 average for the attorney. Child support. One reason I'm never going to divorce my wife. You imagine child support for 11 children. Alimony. The physical cost of what it does. God said marriage is one flesh. Divorce is ripping that flesh apart. It's like ripping your arm off a socket. The physical cost, the emotional cost, the family cost, the friend cost. Friends, you can't be friends with the same person. Your friends with both of you are going to have to take sides. It happens. The spiritual costs, holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, who gets the kids, who shares, all that. How much money was spent just on a wedding? How much money was spent on your marriage so far? It never ends. The cost of that. It's worth it to have a marriage coach. Now, so when someone tables something in the marriage, then they need to get wisdom and get someone to help with the problem. Okay. 137 times in the Bible, the word counsel is used. Solomon had wisdom and counsel. He that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. Hear counsel and receive instruction that thou mayest be wise in the latter end. It is important to get counsel. So get a marriage coach. It can be your pastor. To be honest, many pastors don't do this anymore. It's hard. It takes time. It's a liability. And many of them just say, I'm not good at it. Okay. It can be your dad. It can be a father-in-law. I would have no problem having my dad be a marriage coach with us, or my father-in-law. Good, both godly men. It can be an uncle. It can be a friend. You want to pick someone who knows the Bible, who has wisdom, and has a good marriage. Okay. Get a marriage coach, someone who knows the Bible, someone who has wisdom, and someone who has a good marriage. If you don't have someone like that and you would like me to help you, you can go to Fix Families Institute. I'll put the link in the chat in a minute. Fix Families Institute, and fill out an application for a free one-on-one coaching session, and then schedule an appointment. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Some need once a week to check in and fix any tabled issues. Others need more help. If you have bigger issues and need help, then please fill out the application and set up an appointment. It is worth it. Okay. All right. Any questions that you have? I'm going to stop sharing and see what we have over here. The other thing I wanted to show you, I need one more thing to share. I'm sorry. And so this website of how that works. Okay. This is at Fix Families Institute, Fix Families Institute, and you scroll down to here, free one-on-one marriage coaching session. All right. When you click on that, it's going to bring up a survey. It's not super long, but it's got enough questions on it. It lets me know where you're coming from and what I can do to help and how I can help. Okay. So you fill out that form. When you get done, you click submit. As soon as you do, a calendar will come up, and then you pick a time that would be good for you for that. Okay. Pretty simple. So you go to Fix Families Institute. Let me type that in. fixfamiliesinstitute.com. Take that link and go there, scroll down a little bit, click that button. It'll come up with a survey, fill that out and hit submit. And when you do, a calendar will come up and we'll do a free one-on-one. The question sometimes are asked, what if my spouse won't come? I can still help you if your spouse will not come, and I can help you what to say to get your spouse to come. But I can still help you if it's just one-on-one. That is fine. Okay. All right. Any questions that you have? I said I would be done way in time, less than an hour. That's about 30 minutes. So any questions you have, feel free. If you want to put them in the chat, or if you want to put them in the Q&A, either one is fine. We don't have too many people that we can't keep up with that. Okay. So I see a good mix, 5, 2, 3, 4, all of that. Okay. Someone says, I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. I had one date in 13 years, but I wanted to listen. Absolutely. And by the way, what we taught on here, I have used this with moms and daughters, with dads and sons. I've used this with families. It's just a conflict counseling fix, a conflict communication fix. And so the principles here work in a work situation, they work in a family situation, or a marriage situation. I'm concentrating on marriages and helping marriages. I think that is the key relationship. It's Adam and Eve. It's the first one that God made, how important that is. And so that's what I'm focusing this on, but you can take the principles here and you can get them anywhere. So everyone that signed up, I'm going to, after this is done, save it, download it, and put it on a video where I can send it out so you have the replay. Feel free to watch it anytime. And if there's anything I can do to help you, to let me know. Okay. I'm not going to keep you on a long time here. If you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and close. If you have a question, I'd love to be able to help. If you look at this and go, you know what, we probably need some help. It's just like if somebody, gets in a car wreck, they're bleeding, they need to go to the hospital right now. They don't need to schedule a doctor's appointment a week from Friday. They need to get the help right now. And sometimes marriages, they've got situations that are going on that they really need some help with. The financial thing has gotten so big, or the relationships, or the children, or boy, there's so much up there. I don't know how to dig out from that. We need some help. Would love to be able to help you. Okay. And so God bless you, my friend. Thank you. And it's just panelists, so nobody else can see your name. But man, honestly, message me, man. I want to talk to you one-on-one and help you to be able to help that. I didn't know that, but man, thanks. I got a good friend from high school, would love to be able to help, and it's worth it to be able to fix this. So yeah, and many times the natural is to do the opposite, man. It really is. The natural is to do the opposite, but we can help you with this and would love to, and great to make it different. So all right, yes, you want to have the replay, you want to be able to take the notes. I talk fast, whether you realize that or not, and so sometimes listening to it a second or third time may help you with that. So we're going to go ahead and close. Oh, there's a couple of Q&As. So in a blended situation, does a biological parent have the primary say in a disagreement about a stepchild? It should. And every family relationship and dynamic is different, and most of them aren't good in that blended family and relationship. If let's say the dad is the stepdad, and so you want to be able to agree on it and to have the right kind of discipline and understanding so it can be both. If a stepdad inside the home doesn't feel like he has authority with children, it's a very, very rough place to be. Him being head of the home, supposed to lead the home, and the wife just says, this is what we're doing, and how that child rearing issue is going to create bigger problems that can end up in a divorce, and you don't want that. I would definitely get some professional help and counseling on that because that child problem can literally escalate. So technically, yes, but that's not an A or a B, there's a C, okay? So she said in a family situation blended, does the biological parent have the primary say? Quote, technically, yes, that's A or B. What you want is C. You want to have the agreement with the husband, with the wife on that child, so we're in agreement. If not, it never works out well. That child will separate and divide. The step parent feels like they don't have any control in the relationship, and you're looking to take that big problem of children and looking to head toward a divorce. It will not work. I would definitely recommend to get some help with that. Okay. Someone said, I've only found one church in 45 years of my faith walk willing to exercise ecclesiastical discipline with an erring spouse. Yeah, that's a totally different story in handling situations like that. It can really be rough, and it's rough with that. The best way is to get some wise counsel to fix the problems, to be able to help. Even if there is, I've counseled many, many couples where there is immorality, many couples where they cross big lines. There were some I didn't think, honestly, there were some times I didn't think there was any hope. A guy came to see me, wife wouldn't. Think about like the worst thing somebody could do and then add some to it. It was bad. And his wife was so distraught, she tried to commit suicide. She's in the hospital. I go to the hospital to visit her. She cusses me out and kicks me out of the hospital because I was even willing to talk to her husband. And God let us put that marriage and life back together. There was a guy that came to see me, and they used to come to church, but they were out of church for about 6 months. He came to see me by himself, and he goes, hey, can you help me with my marriage? I said, well, I'll try. What's going on? He said, well, divorce is final on Friday. This is Wednesday. Thanks a lot, man. That's a lot of time. Divorce is final on Friday, and you come see me on Wednesday. And so told him what he needed to do and help him, walked him out to his truck. He had a little Nissan hardbody, and I looked, and the bed of the truck was full of beer cans, full. I said, these are yours? He said, drink every one of them. I said, do you think that might have caused a problem? He goes, yep. My wife and I went to see her, helped her, got to put the marriage back together. There are times when I didn't think there was any hope, but with God and people willing to do what they need to do, it's amazing how God can fix and turn that around. So even if there's immorality, God allows divorce in that situation, but he said only because of the hardness of your heart, he'd rather forgive and resolve and make that better. I've counseled marriages through immorality. On the other side of it, both of them have said, we don't want to do this, but if we had to go through what we went through, we would do it again to have the marriage that we have now. It's amazing how God can take sin where sin abounds, grace doth much more abound. God can take our sin and our mess ups, and God can smooth them out and make them better than it was before. It's amazing how God can do that. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep you. You guys were great. Thank you for being here. The website, fixfamiliesinstitute.com. If you need some more help, would love to do a free one-on-one to be able to help you in whatever way that we can. And if you know anybody else that needs this, feel free to pass it on to them. And this video, I'm going to make it, it's called in the business thing, a lead magnet, where people can get it for free. And so we can help more people. God bless you. And thank you for being here.